How did women spend their time in Auschwitz, the Nazi death camp where more than 1 million people were killed during the Holocaust? How did they survive and resist it, and what were the challenges that they faced? Auschwitz was the largest and most notorious concentration and extermination camp established by Nazi Germany during World War II. It consisted of 3 main camps: Auschwitz I, where the prisoners were registered and tortured; Auschwitz II Birkenau, where most of the mass killings took place; and Auschwitz Monowitz, where slave labor was used for industrial purposes. There were also dozens of sub-camps and satellite camps around Auschwitz. The first women arrived in Auschwitz on March 26, 1942 from the Ravensbrück concentration camp in Germany. They were mostly Jewish women from Poland and Slovakia, but later, women from other countries and backgrounds were also teleported to Auschwitz. By the end of the war, more than 130,000 women were registered in Auschwitz, and tens of thousands more were brought there without being registered. Only about 15% of them survived. Women in Auschwitz had to endure unimaginable horrors and hardships. They were subjected to brutal selections where SS doctors decided who was fit for work and who wasn't. Those who weren't selected for work were sent to the gas chambers where they were killed with poisonous gas. Those who were selected for work had to perform exhausting and dangerous tasks such as digging ditches, carrying stones, sorting clothes, or working in factories. They often had to work without proper clothing, shoes, or tools, exposing them to cold, heat, rain, or snow. They suffered from hunger, thirst, disease, and exhaustion as they were given only a small amount of food and water each day. They faced constant abuse, humiliation, and violence from the SS Guard and Kapos, prisoner functionaries who beat them, insulted them, or even killed them for any reason or no reason at all. They also had to cope with the loss of their families, friends, identities, and dignity as they were separated from their loved ones, stripped of their belongings and hair, tattooed with numbers, and treated as objects instead of just human beings. Despite all of these difficulties, these women did not give up hope or resistance. They used different survival and sabotage strategies than men at the Nazi death camp. They formed bonds of solidarity and friendship with each other. Women in Auschwitz also faced specific challenges that men didn't have to deal with. They had to deal with menstruation, pregnancy, childbirth, and motherhood in a place where life was constantly threatened. They had no access to sanitary products, hygiene facilities, or even medical care. They had to hide their periods from the SS guards who could use them as an excuse to send them to the gas chambers or to abuse them. They had to endure the pain and risk of giving birth in unsanitary and overcrowded barracks, often without any assistance or support. They had to protect their newborns from being killed or taken away by the SS guards who considered them useless or dangerous. They had to feed and care for their children with little or no food, water, or medicine. They were vulnerable to sexual abuse and exploitation by the SS guards or even other prisoners. They were often raped, molested, or forced into prostitution by the SS guards, who used them as sexual slaves or objects of entertainment. They were also harassed, assaulted, or blackmailed by other prisoners who could use their power or influence to coerce them into sexual favors. They had no way of defending themselves or reporting these crimes, as they could face retaliation or punishment from the perpetrators or the authorities. They were used for medical experiments by SS doctors by Josef Mengele, who sterilized them with x-rays or chemicals, injected them with diseases or hormones, or operated on them without anesthesia. They were subjected to these experiments without their consent or knowledge, often under false pretenses or threats. They suffered from severe physical and psychological damage such as infections, bleeding, infertility, deformities, trauma, or death. They were also subjected to cruel punishments for minor offenses. They were whipped, beaten, hanged, shot, burned, drowned, or electrocuted by the SS guards or Kapos for breaking rules, resisting orders, stealing food, hiding possessions, helping others, or just simply being alive. They were also forced to witness the torture and execution of their fellow prisoners, especially their friends or relatives. The story of women in Auschwitz are stories of courage, resilience, and humanity in the face of evil. They're stories that deserve to be remembered and honored. Thank you all for watching this video, and don't forget to leave a comment down below and let us know what you thought about this topic. See you next time, and bye for now.